top 10 shortstops right now. That program just aired. And the shredder going with Trevor Story, #1. And this was, if it's not third base, maybe shortstop is the best position in baseball right now. It's jam-packed. Look what happened to Javi Baez. I didn't have room for Javi Baez on my top 10. I mean, he was bad, but look, I'm gonna bet on. Look at my 9 and 10, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Carlos Correa, Bo Bichette. I'm gonna bet on Bo Bichette. Now I didn't know they'd signed Marcus Semien at the time that I did the top 10. But I go Fernando Tatis. Then I go Lindor. Tatis is just, he's a rocket ship. Corey Seager had a fantastic year. Trey Turner had a fantastic year. Xander Bogaerts is excellent every year. Trevor Story is great, and I got him 6th. So we're going to ask you your top 5 coming up. That's top 10 right now. Is Trevor Story a whiff, or is it that close where you could see the shredder getting that?
Oh, I mean, you know, like this is, again, beauty being in the eye of the beholder. I think there's 4 or 5 guys you can make #1 in Stories on that list. And just to speak of the quality, I went and looked. Fangraphs WAR 2019-20 combined, especially because last year was a shortened season. Who leads? You know what I found interesting about how talented the shortstops are? These guys were all in the top 18. None of them play shortstop anymore. It's Bregman, Semien, who's going to play second base for Toronto, David Fletcher with the Angels, Juan Segura, Jorge Polanco, going to play second base, and Villar, who's still... I mean, the group is so talented, they're moving guys off the position who've had a level of success. So I think the point is, yeah, you know, I think you can make a good argument for Story. I would make an argument for Tatis. But, you know, Seager, Turner, etc. I mean, my 5, again, this order is, I put the 3 guys who are 1, 2, 3 because I think the combined game with the defense is best of that group.
Right. Yeah.
But again, I wonder what Ronnie thinks. Every time I see Trey Turner play at Citi Field, I think he's such an electric player.
Yeah.
And I understand the defense isn't the same as the guys in the top 3, but he got into my top 5.
And he runs. Yeah, and he runs.
Over
And he
Carlos
runs.
Correa
Right.
and Baez and a
Right.
few others and Bogaerts, because it just, when I watch him play, I think he's such an explosive player.
And if he slugs like that for a full season, you got to rethink
Slugging
your top 5.
OPS, yeah.
What do you think?
He was remarkable last year. We're very similar. It's so funny that we're going to be talking about an infielder for the Rockies who's outstanding on the left side of the infield. Didn't we do that in the A block?
There we go.
No, that's Trevor Story
stacked.
again.
Yeah.
And I've got him 3rd, like Joel did, Tatis, Lindor, and Story. I have Seager and Correa in there both. The reason I have both of them, yes, Seager had a great postseason last year, a great season. Correa, not a great season, a great postseason. Those 2 players, if you remember when we talked about them 4 or 5 years ago, were going to be 2 of the best players in the game. They've been slowed by injuries, got through that last year, and I'm expecting big things from them this year.
You know what? I put Correa down there. I think he's marvelous. I think he's one of the top players in the game. But I wanted to reward Xander Bogaerts for playing and Story with his defense, and I wanted to get Tim Anderson in there somewhere. And actually, Tim Anderson had a better year than Correa last year, and he's proven that he can hit now. Maybe not at the ceiling of Correa, but for what Correa is actually doing.
Yeah, again, it's a loaded group. And if you would have gotten to vote on Semien, would you have put him in?
I did. And no.
Oh, was he included?
Yeah.
On the group? I didn't know if you included him in the second base group.
At the time we taped these, yes, Semien was still shortstop. And no, he needed to I need you to back up that fantastic year. Obviously, if he even had he was one of the players that had a pivotal 2020. In terms of his getting paid, too. Right? Is that you got to show me you had an 8-win season, fantastic. But is that just your one outlier year, which it might be?
So saying that, I would say the most interesting backup one is, and we're so heavily biased and influenced by the postseason, I am fascinated with who Seager is this year.
Yeah.
He was so good in the postseason last year. It was like a coming out party of a very good player who kind of went like this a little with health and performance, and then you watch him in the postseason and say, well, why isn't this guy one of the 5 best players in baseball? Maybe he is. So I'm curious what he does in 21.
Yeah, Bogaerts and Turner both just outside my top 5.
See, I only made you do a top 5. Yeah. I don't want to make you guys do so much work. I didn't get Dansby Swanson had an excellent year.
That's right.
Didn't quite get him in the top 10. That's how good it is. It's fun when you do a position where the guys are great and, 9, 10, you're still talking about great players.